Now, I want to show you the video clip of a gentleman that someone sent to me. Thank you for doing so. By the way, for those who have been watching me for a minute, if there are trending topics you'd like me to react to, I keep saying it, please send me the link via the DM on Instagram at Franklin, as it's spelled, on my YouTube channel, or just bang me an email, foodchannel1960@gmail.com. My email address will be in the description area of this video if you're watching, hopefully on YouTube, okay? So somebody sent me this. It's a very interesting clip by a gentleman that made very, very solid points. He talked about African women struggling with identity in the West and how this is adversely affecting their lives, marriages, and family. It's a very, very interesting and detailed clip. I ensure you, I ask nicely that you take your time to watch it, that you will enjoy the gentleman's submission. I want us to keep the conversation going on below. If you have a different, interpretation of what he has said or some of the submissions, or you even have a way of amplifying some of the points, yeah, I would love us to do so. At the end of that video, I'm going to add one or two things in terms of my own submission, okay? Here we go.
Nigerian women, East African women, women from Ghana, they have no cultural identity. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean. You see, I work in an industry which is information technology. In information technology, there is one country that really, really stands out when you talk about information technology, and it's India. Indians, for some weird reason, I don't know how they got into that thing in the cultural context. Everybody maybe went in for IT. The whole country made a powerful reference to IT, just like China made a huge push into industrialization that deals with tools. The idea of having the tools to make a car or make a shoe, heavy industrialization that they can use to serve the world. India went into this heavy thing about information technology. In my 12 years of working in information technology, everywhere I go, it's loaded with Indians. If the information technology, for example, if a place has maybe 20,000 workers, I'm talking about a huge place, in which maybe 10,000 of their workers are engineers, software engineers, computer engineers, so on and so forth. I can assure you that of the 10,000, 9,500 will be Indians. So what has been my exposure there? Indian women. They're the one, they're 4 feet, some of them little 4 feet, things, small things that are making dream money. They came direct from their village into the system, and they're making 180,000, 190,000, 200,000 dream money. But there's a strange thing I notice about them. As they come to work, they're wearing their native wear, that thing that they tie and hang on their neck with that dot here. Another strange thing I've noticed about them is you will never, ever, for all my years, I stayed in the United States, I was born here. In all my years of staying here, you'll never hear the Indian women dragging their men to the American court system for divorce. It is our women that use the American court system to destroy our men. They bring the court in to help them destroy the men. You will never hear Indian women doing that thing. You will never hear women from China taking Chinese men into the American court system to destroy them with divorce. You will never hear women from Korea dragging their men in huge numbers into the American court system to destroy them. But when it comes to African women, East Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, when it comes to African women, they just drag their men into the court system. One of the things that I've noticed in this system or in this problem is poverty. Bring these Indian women, they're making 150,000, 180,000. They don't drag their men into court. Plus, sometimes, like in most places, all the places I've ever worked in information technology, they'll have one car. Not that I'm supporting that behavior, but there's something strange on why I see them. They have one car. They wait for their husbands. Even if their husbands are working 2 hours overtime over their time, they'll wait. Some of them pregnant, waiting for their husbands. When it's finished, they go into the same car with their husband and drive home. I watch Indian women and women from so many other places. They're not crazy about the Louis Vuitton, Gucci, all the designers wears. They are not even interested. Indian women, I meet them. They've been here 15 years, 20 years. They still keep their accent. They still speak as if they're living in India. But when I meet our women, and our women, all that they have to do is just get to a level of where they're making 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 or 80,000 a year. I'm talking about small money. Small money. Immediately the marriage is in danger. And they change. They start bleaching and they start talking, sure, yeah, sure, yeah, sure, yeah, I went, oh my God, I went to New York. And I'm like, even I who was born here, I don't speak like that. I look at others like the Chinese, they can't speak English very well, you know, and their women may be driving very expensive cars that belong to their husbands. And I look at the Indian women who don't speak English very well, and they're not interested in changing their accent or their undertone. And they wear their native dress, that thing, and everything to work. I look at Korean women. I look at other women. They have this sense of cultural identity. African women do not have a sense of cultural identity whatsoever. Little money, and the marriage is over. One thing I've discovered, a common trend, once the women make, they go, nurse. 80,000 is all they need to make. And suddenly your marriage is in danger. They want to call the shots. They want to be the ones that control everything. And if you don't like it like that, they'll bring in the American courts to destroy your life, destroy everything around you. They will insult you. And I'm like, 80,000 is all that it takes for someone to change. Or 70,000, because most of them, even the 80,000 is overtime. They've worked themselves Sunday, Saturday, Saturday night, Sunday nights. They've worked themselves to death. That money that they make as overtime is what is now changing into something that they will destroy everything around them. You know, the part that I see also is that a lot of, and I remember whenever I make my videos, I refer to bitch ass men. Bitch ass men. It has come to a point where we really can't define marriages in the African context anymore in the United States, because the man is changing diapers. He's washing the plates. He's sweeping the floor. He's cooking. Most men now have to cook to keep their marriages intact. He's picking the kids and dropping them. Like in what, like I've seen the experiences. I don't need to go far. I don't want to go too, you know, but the woman is shouting at them, where's the child's belt? Where's the child's socks? Where's the child's everything? And the women go around telling everybody, we are partners. There's nothing like head of the household. We are partners. Okay. So the men are doing everything in the women's role and also doing everything in their role. And they also keep their jobs. And that is supposed to be the perfect. If you don't do like that, they'll call American court on you. This partner thing, I've seen people try it and it leads to disaster. Like he says, okay, so since I'm the one doing the laundry and washing the plates and cooking the food, can you help me change that bulb? No, that's a man's job. Okay, can you help me change the engine oil in the car? No, that's a man's job. Okay, can you help me paint the other? No, it's a man's job. The women are quick to tell you what's a man's job, but you must do your job and do their job now, and do their job and keep your job also in the society, and come back and still, even there's no respect. You are supposed to be submissive, or the marriage ends on your head. And when you look into it, she started making $80,000, and I compare that with the Indian.
We have identity crisis, definitely, and this is why we have a major problem in terms of disunity within the Black community. We are constantly self-loathing, self-sabotaging, and this is not doing us any favors. In fact, interestingly, a couple of days ago, in my local barbershop, I was having a chat with a gentleman in there, and I was talking about how if only Black folks can come together and realize that we will easily build, generational wealth via group economics. But there is something in the atmosphere. We are self-loathing. We are self-sabotaging within our own community. We enjoy the game of oppression, looking down on the other person. I want to show you that I have a wristwatch that's better than yours. Or in fact, maybe my watch can even pay for your child's school fees. I want you to feel so tiny about yourself, and we never help ourselves. Hey man, very tiny percentage of our people do help themselves, but it's a very, very, very common behavior where if I've been able to get a piece of information to climb, I don't want the next person to find out. I prefer you to be down there so that I can flex on you all day, every day. Look at my shiny Range Rover. I live in Kent. My children are better than yours. Look at my shiny designers. Look at my Ferragamo, my money. Oh, here is my bank balance. I've got 5 cryptocurrency wallet. Oh, we've just got back from Dubai. And we do this all day, every day. There is lack of trust amongst ourselves, right? It's all well and good that you know this guy in your local church, or you've known him from high school. In fact, even this is your brother. You slept in the same bunk bed when you were coming up. A little £5,000 worth of business, people would diminish and throw away their integrity in 3, 2, 1. Oh, you are at the bottom end of the spectrum financially. You're struggling. You know, your brother lends you £500, the money that they've struggled to put together. You run away with their money. You know, the long and short of what I'm saying is the same thing reflects in terms of our union based on what this gentleman has talked about in the video that you watch. And I'm telling you, man, it's like a stage 4 cancer that's eating deep and deep and deep into the black community and destroying us. There is lack of togetherness. And this is why it's become absolutely impossible to be able to compete effectively with like the Asian community, the Chinese community. I mean, I talk about them. We talk about them every day in terms of even penetrating Africa. A lot of people, you know, we talk about how unhappy we are. They're buying our lands and stuff. But how many times, like that gentleman said, have you seen? It doesn't mean there isn't a tiny percentage of people in the Chinese community that perhaps go through divorce, but how many times have you opened one of these popular blogs and you see the Chinese woman throwing the Chinese man, you know, down the drain and tearing their lives apart? How many times have you seen an Indian couple on the front page of any, you know, major, you know, newspaper or website, mainstream media here in the West? For those of you that have lived in America for long, in the UK, in the Germany, how many times? You very, very rarely. You go into a Chinese restaurant, you can barely tell who the owner of the business is. The owner of the business might be the guy, you know, mopping the floor when you walked in. The owner of the business might actually be the one emptying the beans outside. You wouldn't even know who's got papers, who hasn't got papers, who is the boss, who has the most investment. And before you blink your eyes, they've gone down the street, they've replicated the same business plan, they've gone to another jurisdiction in that city, they own multiple businesses, they take the profit, they buy properties, they grow together. They bring some of their brothers over, right? They serve within the confines of that business. Within 3, 4, 5 years, they take those brothers, they go set them up, those brothers repeat the process, and this is how they build, and they are. Another thing about their finances, their money flows within the community. So you find a Chinese business, very rarely, you would hardly find a Chinese business go hire a Nigerian accountant. Has nothing to do with that. Maybe the Nigerian accountant doesn't know how to, you know, display their accountancy, you know, skills, but they would rather pay a fellow Chinese brother or sister who has accountancy skills, and the details of their business and everything stays within the community. It's the same thing. I've lived in the UK for donkey years. I've never seen on the front page where you see a Chinese woman dragging her husband. Does that mean they have an absolutely perfect community? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But they work together, they stick together. If you ever turn on the TV in this country and you find like a Chinese takeaway, like a bunch of people, maybe they're working illegally in a particular Chinese restaurant, I'm talking hypothetically, and then the UK immigration, the border force bust them and then they pick them up, you would find out that that piece of information must have come from a whistleblower outside of their community. They never grass themselves up. They don't tear themselves down. Again, this is why they grow stronger and stronger and stronger financially. What are we doing, black community, man? Because like I say, we are self-loathing. It's very common, whether you choose to accept it or not. We always like to explain away, right? It's only in our community that you see women, some, you know, women, that they think the oppressor, the state of England, for example, is on their side. Oh, they would help you destroy your family unit. They would help you tear it apart. Oh, and then in the process, they put your children in care. How many times do we see these other communities? Because we're self-loathing, we're self-destructive, we're self-hating, you know. You like that guy said, it's only us, we're in a relationship. Oh yeah, my partner. You're competing, you're trying to outdo, you behave in a totally disparaging manner towards your partner. You're trying to prove a point because you're a nurse now, you're earning $100,000, you're earning £60,000 a year. You think you have arrived, you show a blatant disregard. Some of our women, they would absolutely tear down, you know. We have the highest number of single moms. There's something wrong. There's something wrong, man. And we need to do better. Anyway, what do you think? Let's keep the conversation going on below. My name is Franklin. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please follow me on Instagram at Franklin, as it's spelled on my YouTube channel. And don't forget to like my videos, and I'll catch you in the very next one. Peace and love, man. Bye-bye.